human time, human dignity, costs. This short video will address immigration consulting costs and how to mitigate costs by using your knowledge about yourself and using your time rather than using someone else's time for working on your Canadian dreams, and also saving you substantially. Applying for Canadian permanent residence is not rocket science, but most people do not want to make an error, and therefore they hire expensive authorized representatives, or some of you use fake consultants overseas for good reason. But today, post-COVID, immigration to Canada has become multifaceted, and it is very expensive to hire consultants to represent you with multiple governments. Today's permanent residence approaches are multiple programs at the federal government and separate approaches with each of the Canadian provinces, and this is sometimes confusing. Polinsys is a Canadian corporation. We have licensed immigration practitioners, and we have to be paid for the work we do. When dealing with individuals or organizations regarding Canadian immigration services, please check out their credentials. For Polinsys, it is here, polinsys.co/c. Please understand that immigration services offered is for time spent on a file and not based on the outcome. Human life, human time, human dignity. Our clients from developing countries sometimes find it challenging to pay Canadian fees for work because the wages in their countries don't match with those from the developed world. Many of them forgo several immigration pathways just because they don't get proper advice, all leading to affordability. And it is perfectly understandable. Also keep in mind that profile creation online offered by various government bodies are free because nobody invests their time in checking out what is in those profiles. You provide your information and the government sets up parameters to select a group of people based on the credentials entered in the expression of interest at the federal and provincial websites. And selection is made according to the profiles and the need of the day. This part can be done by each applicant themselves, and to facilitate that, a new Canadian guided application platform is being developed. This will considerably reduce the cost of representation. All immigration programs are quota-based, and there are limits to quotas. Do not follow the pack, because that is dangerous. If you see many people are going to one program, common sense should dictate that you should change your course and target something else. The Polinsys self-guided platform will target several programs, which increases your chances of selection at a fraction of the price of being represented. To address this challenge, Polinsys, a Canadian corporation, in partnership with two other Canadian corporations, the Student Herald, which is a recruiter, and Pearlpost Novascotian, has joined forces to create a guided immigration platform for Canadian immigration, recruitment, and settlement services. This guided platform would centrally facilitate self-help based guided approach for Canadian federal and Canadian provincial programs to make it easier for applicants to approach Canadian permanent residents. We all know that you know your file and your life and your experience better than your representative. And it takes time and effort for a representative to review, understand your life, including your education and your work experience and your family circumstance, to effectively represent you. And time takes money. This platform would address the knowledge gap and opportunities other immigration and recruitment programs offer, like federal opportunities, PNP approaches, and independent provincial approaches, employer-driven programs, special education pathways towards permanent residence, and the likes, so that you can effectively participate in them through a self-guided approach. This platform will also update participants with new approaches whenever it becomes available. Your guided approach will allow you to fill in all the forms yourself and represent yourself until you obtain a selection. And once selected, you can seek representation. This approach will reduce the risk of spending money for representation before selection. Representation is expensive because Canadian wages are expensive. And after all, it is one of the reasons you are attempting to move to Canada, right? Please keep in mind that the Canadian government is likely granting you a Canadian permanent residence entirely based on an online representation, either by yourself or by your authorized representative. Likewise, your credential evaluations is also entirely done online. This is what happens in developed nations, and we would encourage applicants to become aware and welcome online platforms which could save you a lot of money. Another good aspect of this platform is your ability to participate in a Canadian employer-driven programs with minimal support or intervention, subject to your positions being available and sought after by Canadian employers. And you can come with the required credentials. The Canadian Immigration Guided Application Platform will be released to the general public in the later half of 2022. And some applicants from the Canadian global immigration firms will be selected for beta program testing starting in January of 2022. More information about the Canada Immigration Guided Application Platform will be released by Polinsys in the coming months to help Polinsys clients and prospects approach Canada immigration in a wholesome manner. Thank you.